All right, let's dive into plant guilds, these amazing self-sustaining ecosystems right in your backyard. I bet you're all ready to learn how to boost your garden's biodiversity and soil health, and we've got just the thing, this handbook, Plant Gilding in Permaculture and Agroecology.
You know what's so cool about plant guilds is that they're like a well-coordinated team.
Good.
Each plant has its own role to play. Instead of battling it out for resources, they all work together. It's a thriving mini ecosystem.
So it's not like my garden where it's every plant for itself.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
can actually get them to work together.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
It's a total game changer.
But how do they actually work?
Well, it's all about communication. It's like they speak through ecological interactions.
Yeah.
One of the key principles is this thing called mutualism.
Mutualism.
Yeah, where different plant species actually benefit each other.
So they're like a plant support group.
Yes, exactly. Everyone's got each other's backs.
I like it. Can you give me an example?
Absolutely. Imagine you plant beans alongside your corn.
Okay.
Beans are legumes, right?
Right.
They have these tiny bacteria that live in their roots that can pull nitrogen right out of the air.
Wow.
And they convert it into a form that other plants can use.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's like a free, all-natural fertilizer factory.
Awesome. So the corn right next to it just gets that.
Yeah, the corn gets that extra nitrogen boost.
Wait, so I can ditch the store-bought fertilizer?
That's the beauty of guilds.
I'm all about that sustainable life.
Exactly. And it's not just nitrogen. Different plants have different root depths.
Oh, right.
So they're not all competing for the same water and nutrients.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like a high-rise apartment building for roots. Some plants, like carrots, have deep tap roots.
Oh, okay.
They're living on the tent house level. They're getting all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, shallow-rooted lettuce is happy down on the lower floors.
So no more root warfare underground.
Exactly. Everyone has their own space.
I like it. But what about bugs?
Ah, yes. The eternal struggle.
They always seem to find my garden.
Right?
Can guilds help with that?
Absolutely. Some plants, like marigolds,
Okay.
they release these compounds that can repel harmful nematodes.
What are nematodes?
They're these tiny little worms that can damage roots.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they're not good. It's like having a natural security system for your garden.
So marigolds are like the bouncers, keeping the unwanted guests out.
Precisely.
I love it. But what about bringing in good bugs, the ones that actually help my plants?
That's where other plants in the growth come in.
Okay.
They act like beacons. They're drawing in beneficial predators. Yarrow, for example, attracts ladybugs.
And ladybugs eat?
Aphids. They are voracious aphid eaters. It's like having a tiny army of ladybugs patrolling your garden, keeping those pesky aphids in check.
Wow. So no more spraying harmful pesticide.
Let nature do the work.
It's brilliant. So guilds are amazing for individual plants. But what about the bigger picture? What about biodiversity and soil health?
Well, that's where things get really exciting. With a guild, you're not just growing plants, you're creating this diverse habitat. And that supports all sorts of creatures, from insects and birds down to those all-important soil microbes.
So it's not just about the plants above ground, it's about a whole thriving ecosystem.
Exactly. A diverse ecosystem means healthier soil. Decomposing plant matter from various species becomes a natural fertilizer. It's enriching the soil with a wider range of nutrients.
Oh, wow.
Plus, those diverse root systems create channels.
Okay.
Allows water and air to penetrate the soil more effectively, improves the structure, improves its overall health.
It's like a spa treatment for the soil.
Exactly.
I'm starting to see how all these elements work together. It's like a perfectly choreographed dance. But I'm curious, what are the specific roles that different plants play in this ecological ballet?
Well, that's a great question. And that leads us perfectly to the next part of our deep dive. We're going to meet the Plant Guild All-Stars.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait. We'll be right back after a quick break.
Welcome back. We're ready to build that dream team of plants,
I'm
right?
so ready. So who are these plant superstars and what roles do they play in this ecological masterpiece?
Let's start with the foundation of any good team,
Okay.
the heavy hitters, the primary producers.
Okay, so like the workhorses.
Yeah.
The ones that bring in the energy.
Exactly. Think of them as the solar panels of the guild,
Okay.
capturing sunlight and turning it into food, not just for themselves, but for the entire team.
Oh, wow.
And these are often your main crops, the ones you'll be harvesting for food or other uses.
Gotcha. Give me some examples. Who are the MVPs in this primary producer lineup?
Well, in a larger guild, you might have fruit trees
Gotcha.
as your star players. Imagine a majestic apple tree. It provides shade and structure, just like those towering trees in a forest. And beneath its canopy, you could have a whole cast of supporting characters. Vegetables like tomatoes, kale, and carrots, they're all soaking up that dappled sunlight, thriving in this multi-layered ecosystem.
Wow, it's like creating a mini forest right in my backyard. I love that. Layering different plants to mimic nature's design. But what about those nitrogen-fixing wizards we talked about earlier?
Yes.
Where do they fit into this Plant Guild All-Star team?
The nitrogen fixers, they're like alchemists of the garden, transforming that atmospheric nitrogen into a form that plants can easily absorb.
It's amazing.
And they're not just helping themselves, they share this precious nitrogen with their guildmates.
Oh, that's so cool. So it's like having a built-in fertilizer factory.
Yeah.
Powered by nature itself. Remember you mentioned legumes,
Uh-huh.
like beans. They're the masters of nitrogen fixation. So should I just be planting beans everywhere?
Well, you don't want to overdo it.
Right.
Just like any good team, balance is key. But strategically incorporating those nitrogen-fixing plants throughout your guild ensures a steady supply of this essential nutrient. It boosts growth and vitality for all the players.
It's amazing how they all work together.
Oh, no.
Each contributing their own unique talents
Oh.
to create this thriving community.
Yeah.
It's making me rethink my whole gardening philosophy. But I'm curious about those deep-rooted dynamos.
Yes.
You mentioned earlier the ones that can mine nutrients from the depths of the soil. They sound like real game changers.
Ah, yes. The dynamic accumulators. These plants have deep roots. They can access nutrients far below the reach of their shallow-rooted companions.
Oh, wow.
It's like they're the prospectors of the guild,
Okay.
bringing up valuable minerals from the subsoil and sharing them with the entire team.
So it's like they have this secret underground network, sharing resources
Exactly.
and ensuring everyone gets what they need.
Uh-huh.
Give me some examples of these nutrient mining marvels.
All right. Comfrey is a classic example. It has these incredibly deep roots. It can tap into a wealth of nutrients, especially potassium. You know how much tomatoes love potassium?
Do you love it?
Well, imagine planting comfrey nearby and then using its nutrient-rich leaves as mulch around your tomato plants.
Oh.
It's like giving them a gourmet meal,
Wow.
delivered straight from the depth.
So Comfrey is like a potassium delivery service.
Yes.
Powered by nature itself. I never knew a plant could be so generous. What else?
And then you have dandelions,
Dandelions?
often considered a nuisance, but they're actually dynamic accumulators too. Their deep taproots not only mine nutrients, but also help break up compacted soil. It improves aeration and drainage. It's like having a tiny team of excavators working underground.
Wow, I'm starting to see dandelions in a whole new light.
Me too.
But let's not forget about pest control. We talked about marigolds as nematode repellents, but what other plants can help us keep those pesky bugs at bay?
Well, herbs like basil and oregano not only add delicious flavor to our meals, but also act as natural pest repellents. Basil, for example, can deter flies and mosquitoes, while oregano can help keep cabbage moths away from your precious brassicas. And here's a bonus tip. Planting basil alongside tomatoes is said to enhance the flavor of the tomatoes.
Oh, really? So I could have a delicious pest-free garden, all thanks to the power of plants. Sign me up. But what about attracting those beneficial insects, the ones that pollinate our plants and keep pests in check?
Yeah. Attracting pollinators is crucial for a healthy and productive guild. Luckily, many plants are eager to lend their alluring scents and vibrant colors to this effort. Lavender, for instance, is a pollinator magnet, drawing in bees and butterflies with its intoxicating aroma and beautiful purple blooms. Plus, it can repel deer and rabbits, adding another layer of protection to your garden.
Wow. Lavender is like the ultimate multitasker, beautifying the garden, attracting beneficial insects, and deterring unwanted critters.
I know, it's amazing.
What other pollinator-friendly superstars should we invite to the party?
Well, borage is a real bee magnet. Its bright blue, star-shaped flowers are irresistible to those buzzing pollinators, and its edible flowers add a touch of whimsy to salads and drinks.
Oh, cool.
And let's not forget about the humble sunflower.
Sunflowers.
Its towering stalks not only provide structural support for climbing plants, but also attract a diverse array of pollinators with their large, nectar-rich blooms.
It's amazing how these plants go above and beyond,
I know, right?
attracting pollinators while also contributing to the overall structure and beauty of the guild. It's awesome. But what about the ground level? What role do ground covers play in this intricate ecosystem?
Ground covers are the unsung heroes of the guild.
Okay.
They quietly work to protect and nourish the soil. They act like a living mulch, suppressing weeds, retaining moisture, and preventing erosion. Clover, for example, is a fantastic ground cover.
Clover.
It not only fixes nitrogen, but also provides a soft green carpet that invites beneficial insects and pollinators to explore the lower levels of the guild.
So clover is like the welcome mat
Exactly.
of the guild, inviting beneficial insects to come on in and make themselves at home.
Precisely.
I'm starting to see how every plant has its own special role to play. And together they create this incredible symphony of life.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about those climbers and vines, the ones that reach for the sky. What role do they play in this ecological orchestra?
Climbers and vines are the acrobats of the guild. Okay.
They add that vertical dimension and they maximize space utilization. They can clamber up trellises, fences, or even other plants, creating a lush tapestry of foliage and flowers. Cucumbers, for example, with their sprawling vines and delicious fruits, can climb up sturdy sunflowers. That's a mutually beneficial partnership.
I like it.
And grapes, with their cascading tendrils and juicy clusters of fruit, can transform a simple pergola into a shady oasis, providing both beauty and bounty.
So they're adding a whole new level to the guild,
Yeah,
creating this multi-story ecosystem that's bursting with life.
exactly.
And speaking of structure, I remember you mentioned plants that can provide support for other guild members. What are some examples of these plant pillars of strength?
Well, sunflowers, as we discussed, are excellent support structures for climbing beans.
Right.
They provide a natural trellis, allowing the beans to reach for the sky, while also benefiting from the sunflower's nitrogen-fixing abilities.
Oh, nice. And corn, with its sturdy stalks, can also play a supporting role. In the traditional Three Sisters planting method, corn provides a framework for beans to climb, while squash vines sprawl at the base, suppressing weeds and conserving moisture.
It's incredible how indigenous cultures have understood and harnessed these plant relationships for centuries.
Oh, I know, it's amazing.
They've created these intricate, self-sustaining systems that not only provide food, but also enrich the soil and support a thriving ecosystem. It's truly inspiring. But I'm curious, what about those plants that don't fit neatly into these specific roles? Are there any wild card plants that can add a touch of surprise to the guild?
Absolutely. Every guild benefits from a touch of wildness, a dash of the unexpected. Think of plants like yarrow, which attracts beneficial insects and also has medicinal properties. Or chamomile, with its delicate flowers and calming aroma, which can attract pollinators while also providing a soothing tea. These wildcard plants add diversity and complexity to the guild, making it even more resilient and fascinating.
It's like adding a pinch of spice to a recipe, creating a unique flavor profile that's both delicious and unexpected. I'm starting to see how building a plant guild is like creating a work of art, blending science and intuition, practicality and beauty. But I'm sure our listeners are eager to hear more about how to actually create their own guilds, how to choose the right plants for their specific needs and climate.
Well, that's a perfect transition to our final segment, where we'll explore the practical aspects of guild design and delve into the key takeaways that will empower our listeners to embark on their own guild-building adventures.
Awesome. I can't wait. We've journeyed through this fascinating world of plant guilds, learned how they work, met the plant all-stars. But let's get practical. What can our listeners actually use to create their own backyard ecosystems?
I think the biggest thing is observation.
Okay.
Instead of just planting things randomly, pay attention to how plants interact in nature. Which ones seem to thrive together, which ones struggle.
So it's like becoming a plant detective, observing the clues nature is giving us.
Exactly. And remember, diversity is key. Monoculture is planting a huge area of a single crop. It's like putting all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
They're vulnerable to pests, diseases, environmental changes. But a diverse guild is much more resilient, like a well-diversified investment portfolio.
Oh. So spread the risk, plant a variety of species, let nature do its thing.
Precisely. And don't forget those unsung heroes below the surface.
Okay.
The soil microbes. Guilds create this vibrant underground ecosystem with bacteria, fungi, all these organisms working together. They break down organic matter, cycle nutrients, and improve soil structure.
So it's like a whole underground city bustling with life. But how do we actually ensure that our soil is healthy and happy?
Well, minimize disturbance. Tilling, for example, can really disrupt those delicate microbial communities.
Okay.
So instead, embrace practices like no-dig gardening, sheet mulching, cover cropping. Protect and nurture that soil food web.
It's all about working with nature, not against it. I'm starting to see how all these seemingly small choices can make a huge impact on the overall health of our gardens and even the planet.
That's the beauty of permaculture. Which plant guilds are a part of? It's a holistic approach to design. It aims to create sustainable, resilient systems that mimic nature's interconnectedness.
This has been an incredible deep dive.
It has.
I'm feeling inspired and ready to start building my own plant guilds. Any final words of wisdom for our listeners as they embark on their guild-building adventures?
Remember, there's no one-size-fits-all approach to guild design, so experiment, have fun, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Observe, adapt, and enjoy the journey of working with nature to create a thriving ecosystem right in your own backyard.
Beautifully said. So there you have it, folks. We've explored the what, the why, and the how of plant guilds, those amazing self-sustaining ecosystems that you can create in your own gardens. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Happy gardening.